Welcome, everyone. I'm excited to be here with you. We're here to talk about macroeconomics. At the end of this talk, my hope is that you'll have a greater love for the economy. My name is Bruce Kerber. I'm the author and originator of the Divine Economy Models and the Divine Economy Theory. I'm an economist in the classical liberalism tradition. Today, we're going to consider the following statement on a screen share. Once a medium of exchange is in place and universally accepted, then all goods and services produced are valued in those terms. This was a major advancement since it made cost accounting possible. Both inputs and the goods and services produced were then in the same terms. From this point forward, it was possible to evaluate and to determine profit and loss. Today's example is about economic calculation. Drew considers himself a lucky man, not because he won the lottery or discovered buried pirate treasure, though he did once find a $5 bill in an old coat pocket. No, Drew's claim to fortune lies in owning a pet store, which to him is basically a legally sanctioned excuse to surround himself with creatures that poop in tiny corners. As a kid, Drew was the Dr. Dolittle of his neighborhood. Fish, hamsters, an iguana named Kevin. If it could wiggle, swim, or shed, Drew had one. What began as a hobby/animal hoarding situation turned into a full-fledged career when he bought a pet store. And that's when life got real. Suddenly, Drew couldn't just trade a sack of marbles and a slightly melted candy bar for a bag of fish flakes. Now it was invoices, contracts, and brace yourself, spreadsheets. He learned the thrilling art of the commonly accepted medium of exchange, better known as money, which allowed him to compare costs, predict profits, and avoid being swindled by the charming lizard wholesaler named Carl. In short, Drew realized that running a business isn't just about feeding fluffy things. It's a game of numbers, contracts, and survival. And shockingly, he loves it because now he can afford even more animals, and this time tax deductible. Once a medium of exchange is in place and universally accepted, then all goods and services produced are valued in those terms. This was a major advancement since it made cost accounting possible. Both inputs and the goods and services produced were then in the same terms. From this point forward, it was possible to evaluate and to determine profit and loss. Does the use of a medium of exchange lead to efficiency? Arlene is what you'd call a living, breathing antique. And I mean that in the nicest way possible. She's been dealing in antiques for over 50 years. And if you caught a glimpse of her wardrobe, you'd swear she stepped out of a Victorian catalog. Cameo brooch? Check. Lacy gloves? Always. A hat with an actual bird on it? On Sundays. But don't let the mothball chic fool you. Arlene's sharper than a brand new tack. She's not some quirky relic. She's a master of the game. At 11 years old, while other kids were trading baseball cards, Arlene was bartering buttons for brass candlesticks and quietly building her empire. The real turning point when she swapped bartering for cold, hard cash. Suddenly, her ledger spoke to her, whispering sweet nothings about margins, profits, and market trends. What once was a hobby of swapping trinkets became a savvy business fueled by the magic of the commonly accepted medium of exchange. Arlene saw what others missed. Numbers don't lie, and neither do profit margins. She didn't stumble into wealth, she mapped the route. One dusty, overvalued porcelain doll at a time. What can we learn from this life lesson? Imagine trying to navigate life without a shared way to trade. You'd find yourself offering a basket of apples for a doctor's visit, or trading your favorite old sweater for a cup of coffee. How would you know if it was fair? You wouldn't. And you'd spend more time bargaining than actually living. That's why the idea of a common medium of exchange matters so deeply, even if we rarely stop to think about it. Money, whatever form it takes, quietly keeps our lives moving. It lets us work, create, and share with one another without having to constantly guess the value of things. It brings clarity where there would be confusion, making room for trust and cooperation in ways that bartering never could. But here's the hard truth. This delicate system only works when it's protected. If the value of our money is tampered with, if it loses its power to hold steady, everything we count on starts to fray. Contracts weaken, savings shrink, and it's everyday people, families, workers, dreamers who feel it most. We don't often realize it, but this invisible tool shapes so much of our lives. It deserves care, honesty, and respect. By guarding the integrity of our medium of exchange, we aren't just preserving numbers on a page. We're protecting the peace, dignity, and opportunity that money quietly makes possible for everyone. I hope that you'll subscribe to this YouTube channel. I'll see you next time.